Blah, 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 blah. Welcome back with a new video brought to you by the Spadone project. Here is Nick and Julian. Today we are in the SKKG Foundation close to Zurich. And we are bringing you an interesting new weapon. This is a Reitschwert. And before talking and discussing about this weapon, of course, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want, you can support the project via our Patreon page, and you can find the link in the description. So without any further ado, we can start discussing the weapon. This is one of the typical weapons of cavalry of the 16th century. And you can see is pretty big if compared to an infantry weapon. At the same time, is not as long as our typical Schlagschwert or two-handed sword that we usually discuss about. So this can be handled from the back of a horse. You can see even the length of the handle is shorter than bigger weapons. There is this typical reverse sand stopper pommel and this complex hilt that we usually find in sidesword of the period. We have different branches for the covering of the fingers and two rings here. And on the other side, we have this interesting detail that is a thumb grip, a thumb ring, and is used to place your finger inside and having a better grip on the weapon while you are swinging from the back of the horse. This is a typical weapon of the Saxony area and Austria, right?
Yeah, like we have two areas where apparently similar ones are. One is the Saxony, one that you mentioned. This, I think, is attributed to Styria in Austria.
Yeah, and we can tell, for example, we know in Saxony we have some kind of shape like this that is plain and flaring out, applied at least to two-handed swords of bigger size. And of course the handle is typical of the German area with the wasted grip in the middle. In this case, probably the leather is not original. I mean, is in good shape, so I would presume it has been changed over the years. For what concerns the blade, again, we have typical element found in other weapons of that area. Specifically, if we talk about the marks, there's a mark that we have spent some time over the last year researching about. Is just something that we have decided to do as a, let's say, side quest of our main research, and is pretty widespread. There are variants that we might consider Italian, but every variant is pretty much specific and clearly distinguishable. So in this case, we can say that is more toward the German area, especially because it is paired with a hunting horn.
Signal horn,
yeah. Signal horn mark that again is not common in Italy, but is pretty much widespread in German production. And of course we have here what seems to be some kind of Passau wolf, even though in this case is really weird. The shape might be even a dragon or a lion. There's a really long tail and this kind of
tongue.
Yeah, tongue exiting mouth. And there is also this mark with the number 3 with a crown on top.
Or Z. I still think it's a old variant of the Z.
Yeah, could be. And you were discussing before that might be for a series of weapon, could be an option.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really think it's, but I didn't look into this, so we need to check. But I think it's a Z. So this is just a maker's mark with that. For a 3, it is not round enough. And if you look at the old writing way of the German set, it looks like this.
Yeah.
We haven't actually said what this mark is.
The crown P.
The crown P.
Another interesting inscription is split between both sides of the blade. We have Porto, and on the other side we have Pacem. So I bring peace.
I carry peace, yes.
I carry peace is pretty ironic for a weapon. And of course it is Latin. For what concerns the cross-section, of course, as we would expect, is an hexagonal cross-section, so mainly meant for cutting. Of course, we have a bit of tip, but as always, this is not the kind of really tapered and narrow blade to thrust a lot.
We have a tiny fuller, like
Yes.
tiny, not too long, about this length.
Following more or less the length of some decoration on the last part of the blade on both sides. There's a little cross here. From what concerns balance, we have seen is like around 12 centimeters from the guard. And yeah, that's it. I like it. It's pretty solid, I think.
What is the weight? You measured
The
it?
weight is 2 kilos, and yeah, pretty
Honestly,
much 2 kilos.
I would have not guessed that, like from the
Really light.
from the feel,
From the feeling.
from the feeling. Yeah, not. If you would have asked me 1700 maybe.
Well, nice.
Yeah, but there is something, but I wouldn't have guessed 2 kilos, because you measured this and I didn't. But yeah, I like it as well. Stylistically, very nice, very cool.
Yeah, from the point of view of terminology, we know this is called in German territories as Reitschwert, so cavalry sword. I would point out that for what concerns Italy, we have a lot of terminology between spada due mani, that is two-handed sword, and the Spadone. In this case, I wouldn't exclude that in Italian sources we would find description of this kind of weapon, but called Spadone. And as we have done a lot of research on nomenclature, we know that particularly for Italians, there's sometimes a lot of nuance between different names. And I think it's all for this. So again, if you want to support us more, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course, and give some money to our Patreon page. That is a way to let us travel more and buy more tools, books and stuff we use to bring on the research. And that's it. So thank you for watching.